All right, so it's been a little while. I get all new equipment and I don't even get to use it because I've been busy with other things. As some of you know, I have a doggo. So this is going to be a quick one. I was asked recently about security of your images, adding a watermark and, making it a little harder for people to steal your stuff. Well, I directed them to my mockup copy, how to do the mockups, but that didn't really show anything about watermarks. I forgot about the snowflake one that I have here. So this one, I did do a watermark. You can actually see it on my screen on the right side here. I have a layer called watermark. I'm going to show basically how to create a little more secure. So you have a mockup and a watermark. So if somebody is going to try and trace this, they're going to trace this by hand. You really can't manually do it. I mean, you can manually do it, but you can't use the program to auto do it and steal people's stuff directly. So like a lot of watermarks, people can just, bypass with Inkscape. This one's a little more challenging. So basically what happens is, here's our object. All right, I have my little snowflake here with the client's name on it. This is a door hanger, yay. But they wanted a mock-up. Now I don't want them obviously to take that mock-up and do it themselves because that would be wrong. So one of the features that I always do, instead of just showing them the pattern and going, hey, this is what it's going to look like, I make this wood patterned. Now you can get these images on the internet. You just type in, maple plywood, oak wood. Find a decent resolution, large size, colored wood. And as you know from my other tutorial, you bring the image over, hold down shift, select both the wood coloring and the image that you created, come up here to object, go down to clip and go to set, and now you have yourself a mock-up copy. Now obviously it's a little hard to see here, so let me just make a little background here. We'll make that black. There we go. So now you can see our images here. Here's our mock-up. Now obviously if we send this to them, they're going to be like, oh, that looks amazing, that's going to look great, I love it, can't wait to see it actually cut. But theoretically they can take this and they can trace this. Now they can sit here and go to, what was it? Wow, I am rusty today. All right, why am I doing it this way when I can do it this way? Right click and you can come to trace bitmap. If this was an image, which it's not yet, once I make it into a PNG or anything like that, you can do this. You come into your trace and you can hit OK. It'll trace this out and all that jazz. Right now, this file isn't made an image yet, so that's not the problem. Now, let's add watermark. So now if I bring this up here, it blocks it. You really can't see much. It looks kind of silly. I can go diagonal, make it fit inside here like this. Still looks a little silly, but you want to be able to see the image a little better. People are gonna be like, well, all right, I like it, but I kind of can't get the feel of it. Well, that's when you come over to your layers, which up here in the top here, you'll see this little 3-page looking thing. That's your layers. As you can see, I'm now currently sitting on the bottom layer as I labeled it. If you need to make any layers, you use these pluses here. If you want to remove one, you go to the minus. In my case, I already made a bunch of layers because I have different projects in this file itself. I'm going to come up here to the watermark layer. I'm going to select the text that I want as my watermark. Going to right click, go to move to layer. If this hasn't done it already, you can skip this step. If you created a new layer and then did your text, you can skip this step. But if you haven't, and you already have your layers there and you typed your text and your text is on a different layer, this is how you move it to the watermark. Select your watermark, say move, and now you'll see that the opacity kicked in. Because this layer, I have, if I scroll down here, an opacity mark on here and a blur. So I can bring this up which I just totally made my, there we go. Okay, here's the blur, which I keep down because I like it being more of a fade. And then, you know, this would be full color. Bring this down. There you go. And now you have your watermark. Now you can change this to any color. You can change this to, you know, fill black, and it'll look, you know, like that. You can set it to a nice light gray, whatever colors you choose. You know, occasionally I'll do it in, you know, like a yellow color or a green, because it's different than the pattern itself. Any color that's slightly different is fine. Now you can sit here and go Control D to duplicate it. And you can shrink this down. You can make a bunch of these. Duplicate that one and move it over here. And now the image is basically spammed by your watermark. I personally don't like doing so many. It just, I don't know, bothers me. And I'll just stick with the simple one straight through the middle here. Now, if they wanted to copy this, you have to make sure, you can test this later when you export the image, make sure your opacity is just dark enough, but light enough you can see everything, just dark enough. I usually sit around 64 to, what was it, 70, was it 70? 70? Yeah, 70, because if I zoom in here, yeah, it's 70. All right, so 65 to 70 range, and this is dark enough that when you export this image, so say I grab this and I go File, Export, make sure I'm on selection, let me put it to my desktop, because I don't know if where this file's there. I should be able to access it. So I can just name this Watermark Test. Hit Export. All right, come over here. Go Import. Watermark Test. And for some reason it made the backer opacity. Oh, because I know I'm on the wrong layer. Hang on. So as you can see, it's now opaque because I'm on the watermark layer. I never switched layers. So let me move this back down to the bottom here. And the opacity should go away. Why didn't it? All right, I screwed up somewhere. Delete. Import. Open. There we go. Okay. I'm tired. It's been a long day. Puppers takes a lot out of you. Quick video turned into a slightly longer one. Anyways, so here's our image of this. This is the individual parts. I can edit this one. This one I cannot. It is a solid image. Now, I import it in here. So now what we're going to try to do is we're going to go trace bitmap, and look what happens. This is what they get if they try to trace this. You say OK, you come over, that's their image. That's what they have to work with. So theoretically you can run your name across and then run another one diagonal if they tried to steal this. But as you can see, it makes it incredibly difficult to steal. Hopefully this helps give a little security. Like I said, you might have to play games with your opacity a little bit to get which one is going to do that, where, you know, once it's exported. But like I said, all you have to do is export your image, import your image, and hit right click, go to trace bitmap, and see what comes up. If it still can see just the snowflake, then it's the opacity is not quite right. But at least this way, your clients can see what it's going to look like, and it's got a watermark that can cause them not to be able to steal it. Now, if they wanted to really, really steal it, they can sit here with the Bezier tool which is this guy right here, and zoom in and go click and click and click and click and click and recreate this. But who wants to do that? I sure don't. So there you have it. Hopefully this helps. And yep, I'll talk to you soon. Hopefully I can get more time to do more videos of these. Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy.